take you on in different ways and have a great time doing it, man. You know, just roll with it. Be a part of the flow, man. Don't let any particular aspect of it, you know, put what I've been realizing. This is what I'm talking about when I say don't let any particular aspect of it pull you away from the central essence. You know, don't shoot the messenger because you don't like the message. Flow with it. See what it really is. You'll start to understand. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? You'll catch on. And you'll be living your part of the plan, man, exactly and right there where you need to be doing it. You know what I mean? And you'll be consciously present within that. See, that's where this all leads. Everything on this Coyote Medicine Show, just like in life, but most especially so, points in a singular direction. It's like there are little arrows coming from all directions, but there's a center place, and that's where it is, and that's what we're demonstrating here day after day, or allowing ourselves to move into ever more presently, day after day. It's part of the therapeutic approach to humanity given by the one heart in all, and then, you know, our own conscious presence working together with all of the rest of this that we call humanity, you know, this that surrounds it. Babies, I hesitate to describe much further. I like you to live it. I like you to be it. Show me what it's like, you know. It certainly is, you know. I want to see the fatness and the richness of life arising, and I'm not talking about a bunch of overweight people or overweight animals or something like that. No, I want to, you know what I mean. The fatness is PHATNESS, just like it is in rock and roll. When you got fatness, you got depth, you got harmony, you got, you know, harmonies on harmonies, you got integration of tonal and baser realities, you got the drum of the earth and the heart of the voices of angels, you know, singing through strings and things like that. You know, it's a divine melodic presence just flowing together gloriously into creation, and happy as heck to be able to express that creation, even if it does it brightly or darkly or anything in between, as we often say. You know, it's a beautiful piece of work because of the heart that's in it. The heart is creating all of that. See, now that's kind of representational tale, you know, that suggests what might really be going on here inside of you and I and the rest of this earth, you know. The time of awakening is at hand. I mean, it's not something we have to wait around for. It's not, you know, 2012 was 3 years ago now. Man, time flies, doesn't it, you know? Seems like yesterday, don't it? Well, son of a gun, it is. But, you know, we're so far past the opening of the gateway that, you know, whatever reality has in store for us, we can have and accept right now. We don't have to wait around, you know, like the generations past thought they had to. You know, we don't have to go through any more hellacious wars or, you know, disintegration of life again. You know, we've done that so many times before. This time we've already evened the score. And, you know, I can't expect you to just believe that, but if you see your life living like this, you see the expansive growth, the incredible rearrangement of your whole cosmic art of thinking going on, you know, you understand then why you feel a little disconnected from this reality at times. Everything is being realigned. All of our perspectives, even no matter how deep or high our understanding was already, there was only so much that human beings were capable of at those stages. We go into stages, see? It's a flow, like a river flowing down its stream banks, you know? And it's a directed flow, because we do have the banks of containment all around us, man, that directs our flow. But you understand, the river creates its own channel. It can't help but be where it is, but it also, you know, if it decides that it would rather go east here than south, it does, you know. It makes nice swooping new little turns all the time, man. The current is very powerful, and it recreates the reality around it, besides nourishing it and giving it strength and helping it to grow, man. Water's good for everything, as long as there ain't too much of it. We've told a couple of flood tales in the last couple of weeks, haven't we? Now look what's happened down in Texas and Oklahoma too, babies. I hope you guys are all right. Let me know out there in Texas and Oklahoma. You guys, you know, that everybody's doing okay or not okay. If you need some help, maybe I can, you know, put you in touch with others of the same similar inclinations or whatever, you know. I'll do what I can, you know. I'm not a truck driver anymore, so I can't bring you truckloads of bottled water or generators and things anymore, but I can sure send you truckloads of love and help you get it all resonating right. And you know, I do have a few friends here and there around the old country, and perhaps I put you, like I said, in touch with somebody near you that can be of assistance, or that you could be of assistance to, etc. You know, so more than willing to do that service as I have time to get to it. If I'm a little slow getting to your message, it's just because I got a lot of other stuff on my plate, and I'm just trying to get to it step at a time. So be patient with me if I'm a little slow. Well, don't be patient with me. Just kick my old ass, but you're going to have to wait anyway. Because I'm only going to go so far so fast. That's it. It's all relative. But you know, help is on the way, and things will be a little smoother, and we'll get caught up. We'll have so much time on our hands here, we won't know what to do. We'll probably start creating new TV and radio shows just for the halibut. I don't have anything else to do. Gosh, here we got 24 hours. What are we going to do, man? We're only taking up 5 of 6 of them now. In the past, I really tended to overdo things like that because I do have incredible durability, you know, and I can really rock for hours on end. But I found the 5-hour flight was just about right. That it would culminate somewhere in that 5 hours, you know, and the energies would just expand and grow. Another little cosmic explosion would happen, and I'd be laughing my ass off all the way along it, you know, and having a great time doing it. So that's where we are now, and it works beautifully, doesn't it? You know, on, well, today, yeah, there'll be a 2-hour rerun after this show concludes, of either yesterday, day before, something like that. Anyway, some recent program of rebroadcast of the Coyote Medicine Show, following this one today, just until 2 p.m. Eastern Time, just for a couple hours after this show. So adjust your clocks accordingly. That's like 10 a.m. over on the West Coast, you know. So that means it runs from 8 to 10 a.m. But I do that Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now. And Tuesday and Thursday there is a really good numerology show following this one. And so then we don't do the replays then. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday you get a 2-hour replay. Basically, oftentimes on those days I run a little bit overtime, you know, so it'd be just a little less than 2 hours, whatever, take that off the hour. But anyway, that's basically it. Extra couple of hours. Coyote medicine, the Coyote way. Repeated, wouldn't you say? Sometimes it helps to hear it again, you know, helps you remember and expand a little bit, you know. I know sometimes this stuff, you know, even though we're a lot of times just joking around having a great time, sometimes this stuff contains multi-level messages, and at this level you hear this, and at that level you hear that. You know, that's also what makes it so personal, because it is an energetic communication along with a verbal and rock and roll one, you know. It hits you on all levels. It hits you on all 3, man, you know. And so it can lead to a credible awakening and opening. I mean, it just kind of melts away the resistance inside, and you realize you never did resist, nor did you ever want to. This is the flow you always wanted to be in. You were just afraid to step into it because you thought you'd be devoured by it, or by the people around you for being that, right? Because you've been devoured before. There's some kind of cosmic memory there, right? See, those kind of things have existed to keep us to hold back a little bit until the time was just right. Well, guess what? The time is just right, and now you feel it. And you know, we're far freer now to be who we are than we ever were. Any ancient saint, ascended man, we're far freer now than any of those ever were, you know. And we probably have gone as far, too. We may not know it yet, but we probably have. You know, we're standing right on the precipice of the most divine and amazing moment that humanity's lived since that beginning, because it's kind of like a return to that beginning. It's a reunion of our heart with all beings, powers, energies, dimensions, and levels with whom we reside. It's a reawakening, an end to the blindness, you know. So obviously an end to the age of secrecy and pain, you know. I mean, How can secrecy remain when all there is glittery light everywhere and love in everything, you know? How can it even be? It can't. It's just part of the glittery glow of life, you know. It's a shady thing that gives us shadow and contrast, texture and form. You see, you need all of that too, you know. We're setting ourselves free. We're going back to what we are in the beginning of time. See, it undoes all the genetic restructuring and so forth that's been done here and all that cosmic disharmony that's been created here. It undoes it because we just basically, essentially step back through time. We take our conscious presence right here and we being. We're in this moment that can go anywhere and be anything because that's the moment of now. You know, and some people call it outside of time. I do too sometimes. But all of a sudden you can go being and then loop to any moment you want to be in, you know, being and be there, you see. It's just another way of journeying, you know. It doesn't take the feet, it doesn't even really take the wings, just takes the heart in flight. I remember the first time I remember experiencing floating over time. I'm sure I did it a lot as a kid, but in the, you know, in my younger days, I can still remember the first time I remember traveling backwards through time and flying over it and watching it exist there. I could see all of it, you know, the whole history of that I was passing over. I mean, basically it was human history, but it was universal history too. And it's kind of, I don't know, there's really no words to describe it. You kind of have to see it, you know, but you kind of fly overhead. And then one little part of it, you know, you just know that's where you got to be, and you float down and you float right into it. And there you are living that moment again. Only your higher self, so-called, is there. That's who that presence is you. Only that presence is unified with your person there, too. The little cosmic child or whatever you were where you're visiting with yourself or spying in on yourself, it's more like. But you feel it just like you were there. But you can converse, say, with your child self there, etc. You know, lots of magical things can happen when you finally come unstuck in time. You can go anywhere, do anything, heal everything. You know, the way we do that, obviously, is seeing the movement of love in it. Then everything is like excusable in some way or another. Not only excusable, it's divinely innocent. You know, we've just been actors in roles. I keep telling you that, but you live it. Then you know it, you see. Nobody has to tell you any shitting thing, you know. You just know it. And you become the live and spontaneous little poet that you are inside. Because the inside becomes your outside. That which we used to find attractive, you know, becomes less attractive as our inners reveals the more attractive aspects of our truly divine presence, that which attracts all love to itself and expands on it, gloriously so. That's what I mean when I call us love bunnies. We're radiant beings of light that can sit there like a little bunny does and just be love, 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 soft, fuzzy, furry love. You know what I mean? You can make love like a bunny rabbit too. All this is making love and then some. It's, you know, moving into the next levels with it. You know, and it's not exactly like we leave the physicality behind, because that's where the feeling is, you know. So we just make it a bit more expansive, right back to how we were in the beginning. And I'm sure you can visualize and see that. I'm sure you can understand that presence there, you know. You can remember the glorious peace that we felt, the communal harmony that we participated in there in that divine, beautiful garden valley. I don't even know what they call it. I think river of life running down the middle of it, meandering down the middle of it, and everything just happy and carefree and joined together in its living love of the experience it has right now. And no energy feels isolated or separated from anything. Such concepts do not live there. There is not isolation. There's beautiful forms of personal expression, and each are given their funny little aspect of their particle of creation, which is all of creation too, but their funny little aspect, their particular little note in the divine harmony of life, each and every one. It's so poetic, you know, and so powerful. I'm out of coffee and I gotta go refill myself here, guys. Don't you know? So here we go with a little more of the good times, baby, on the Coyote Medicine Show. Only on the Hazy Radio Network, man. And if this ain't the rock in this network you ever found, well, there ain't no rock where you live then, except from us, man. Not quite that bad. But you have found the rock and roll of your own heart here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, with old Grandpa saying, hey, baby, let's spread those wings. Let's see what we can do with them, shall we? The day that men and women finally figure it out and get it together, then there'll be peace on earth. Basically that's what she said. And I'm sitting there thinking, that is, in a way it's so true, but in another way, that dynamic doesn't even exist. Again, just like they're trying to condition the people of California today into creating an earthquake for themselves, well, they're trying to create separation and division by getting us to focus on the male and female energies and all of the differences and nuances between them that make it almost impossible for folks to really fulfill the divine dream of gathering and being loved beyond comprehension, I mean, there's so many things in the way. And, whole wars, whole nations and tribes have gone to war over little love affairs that went awry, stuff like that, And, so in essence, what she was saying is true. But in this reality, the truth is, even though we're expressed very differently in our visual form, inside our heart, inside our presence, we're the same person. There's the same love in each and every one of us, no matter the color of our skin, the color of our eyes, the shape and form that we've taken, the gender that we wear, etc. See, we've been taught to be involved in a gender war since we were tiny kids. Boys and girls are often isolated and separated and treated very differently in nearly every culture in this reality. In fact, in all of them, as far as I can see. And even though here in America we've given lip service to great equity and civil rights and so forth, there is an extreme bigotry still alive in this reality, or at least has been, So people have rightfully feared and gone to war with that, etc., etc. But it's always been at the essence, the differences that we're focused on, whether it be racial or gender or whatever, nations and tribes. They give you an identity and then teach you to fight to defend it, It's craziness. It's mind control. It's life control of the worst sort. And it's a way to perpetuate the military fighting myth forever. And to forever involve ourselves in its ugly darkness. Well, you know how we step out of that. We've already described it many a time, but when there is no death, there's nothing to fear, and these bombs and bullets become inert things. They just don't exist, they won't work, they won't go off. There's no taking of life any longer because death has passed away. And life is forever here to stay. And now you're just going to have to learn to live with it. So there's the loving way coming alive, and some very unusual places, but all across this earth, and all inside of her and outside of her too. The lights are coming on in humanity, It's as simple as that. And you can resist that flow as much as you feel you have to, but you can't resist it at all, because it's there wherever you turn. Love is ever present, everywhere, in everything and everyone. And that is a reality, a truth you're going to see and accept, period. It's not a matter of believing yourself into it, or following Jesus or Buddha or anybody else to that mighty place of love. No, it's just right here, right now. Jesus, it's all of us. Each and every one of us coming back to life and realizing our central place in the great galaxies of love, man. We are the creation and the Creator together, joined with all of the creation, So it's a place where no one's above or below and everyone's in what we call equity, how much better can it be? Well, that's because we're in equity, because only in the equitous way can we find the fullness of synchronicity and the maximum of expansion and the greatest sharing of loving wealth there has ever been. We're regenerating all of creation by starting right here within our own little personal persons, ain't we? So let's keep sending the good dream over there to California. Bless San Francisco to become the paradise that it was always meant to be and not the bloody battlefield that it's been. Touch the hearts of the people there and remind them of the nature they live within, of the nature that surrounds them. Remind them of the symbology of that golden gate. Could that be the gateway to paradise? Who knows? But you guys sure could treat it so if you just wanted to, make Frisco into the little paradise it was always meant to be. You don't have to live in such tragedy. You don't have to live in competition with anything or anyone. You live in complete harmony. You see, that's the blessing we share with California. And the land, of course, can't help but be complete in harmony with you, no matter how badly some others may want it to shake. See, we dispel that thought. We undo the toxic thought and don't think it. You see, we just love this place. We see paradise. We see California. We see the Golden State, the place where the Golden Heart resides. That was the suggestion contained in the Sierra Gold Rush. And Lerner and Lowe kind of picked up on that and put it in this movie called Paint Your Wagon. If you ain't never seen it, you should. It's a multi-dimensional experience, and it's a lot better than Looking for Mr. Goodbar, let me tell you. Don't ever watch Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Dumb. And bad attempt at mind control. And boy, whew. Takes days to get over that kind of trauma, At least back then it did. We were a little denser, but we were still styling and trying to get our shit together and flowing in the love as best we could in those hippie old times. A lot of time back in those days I felt like Sonny and Cher, and Cher was right there with me everywhere. I just had a ball, man. I'm still having one. I hope your life is becoming so too, that you can love every moment, every minute in it, because that's the key to your awakening heart, babies. See, we're all unified in it. We know. We're talking to ourselves through this old mouthpiece up here on the mountain, eh? This old one-eyed midget, as somebody called me today. I do wink a lot. Well, I'm proud to be the one-eyed midget on the mountain and sharing the wealth of, the universal love. I'm glad to be in a moment of awakening and allowing it to be. I'm glad to be able to flow that way. I'm happier than heck in every moment I live, even when I'm restrained and, put under by a reaction that I probably shouldn't have. I'm learning and growing, and I'm comfortable within myself. It's a great feeling, isn't it? See, because it's a feeling I share with you through this verbage and the tunage that goes with it here on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, don't you know? And if this ain't the rockin'est, lovin'est, happiest little network you ever found, well, give us a few moments, we'll get better, okay? Always room for improvement, I say. But I'd say, wow, this is the way, eh? This is the radio we all always wanted to hear, and now here it is, dear. The radio of life, playing on the receiver of love, the human heart, bringing creation forward in conscious presence, and oh my God, bless California, bless California. We love them, don't we, babies? Yes, indeed. Bless California.